Welcome to our channel. In this video, we would like to show few features of our digital pulse TIG welder, Apollo 400. We would also guide you with a few easy steps for installation of the machine. Let us start with the input power supply connection. This machine requires a 3-phase power supply. You can easily check for the power supply using a multimeter as shown. The standard 3-phase voltage in India is 400 volts. The machine is capable of working across a huge voltage range starting from 330 volts to 500 volts. Check voltage across all the 3 phases and plug in the input socket. Switch on the input supply and also the MCB on the back panel of the machine. Now connect the earthing clamp to the positive terminal of the machine in case of 6013 electrode. For 7018 electrode it needs to be connected to negative. Based on the earthing clamp, the electrode holder is then connected to the negative or positive terminal of the machine. Earthing clamp is then clipped to the job. The electrode holder holds the electrode that needs to be put away from the job when not welding. This machine can be used for arc or MMW welding, TIG or the GTAW, that is gas tungsten arc welding, and pulse TIG welding for thinner metal sheets. We will go ahead and set parameters, that is peak current for MMW or stick or arc welding ranging from 10 amperes to 400 amperes in a 400 ampere machine. Apart from peak current, you can also set hot start parameter, ranging from 0 to 100% for hassle-free weld starts. Arc force also can be set to avoid arc breakage, ranging from 0 to 100%. We are welding a 5 mm mild steel plate with a 3.15 mm electrode at 150 amperes for demo purpose. Let us now move ahead to TIG welding. Here we will be using a water-cooled 400 ampere TIG torch, APS make, for which we would have to fill up the cooling tank with the coolant. The level of coolant in the tank can be observed with the help of level indicator of the cooling unit. Remove the electrode holder and connect the TIG torch to the negative terminal of the machine. Earthing remains clipped to the job. As the name suggests, TIG welding requires an inert gas shielding while welding. The gas pipe of the torch needs to be connected to gas out connector on the machine. Inlet and outlet pipes for cooling the torch need to be connected to the cooling unit. Red pipe indicates outlet from torch connector on the cooling unit, and blue pipe represents inlet to torch connector on the cooling unit. Now connect the torch trigger connector of the torch to the machine. Please check for labels for connector identifications. 2. Connectors of the cooling unit need to be connected to connectors on the back panel of machine. The green connector is for power supply to the cooling unit, and the silver connector is for the flow error signal. When flow of coolant is not sufficient, the machine automatically switches off, showing a flow error signal. Connect the gas pipe to inert gas cylinder using a blue air pipe. Switch on the cooling unit. Navigate to TIG welding mode on the display panel. Peak current is then set. Set the various TIG cycle parameters like pre-flow gas time, initial start amperage, upslope time, peak amperage, downslope time, final amperage, and post-flow gas time. The pre-flow gas, upslope, downslope, and post-flow gas time range from 0.0 to 10.0 seconds. The initial peak and final amperage can be set from 10 to 400 amperes. In pulse TIG mode, along with the peak current, we set the peak percentage. This is the percent of peak amperage in a single cycle while pulsing. We then set the pulse per second of frequency that can be set up to 50 Hz in the steps of 0.1 Hz. Base current is the minimum amperage setting. The setup for pulse TIG welding is same as that of TIG welding. The machine oscillates between the peak and the base amperage to reduce heat input, thereby avoiding burning of thin metal sheets. Let us now talk about few special features of Apollo 400. The peak current or the base current of the machine can be adjusted not only from the machine panel, but also with a remote provided by us. Just change the option on the front panel from local to remote. Weld start trigger also can be operated in various modes in TIG and pulse TIG welding. That is 2T mode, wherein we press to weld, release to stop. 4T mode, wherein we press and release the trigger to start and do the same to stop. The S4T mode enables the welder to remain on the initial amperage for as much time required by keeping the trigger pressed. As soon as he releases the trigger, it will upslope to the peak amperage. When the welder again presses the trigger, the peak amperage downslopes to final amperage and remains there until the torch trigger is released. The release of the trigger is followed by post-flow of gas. In spot mode, we allow the user to set the welding or the spot timer. When the trigger is pressed and released, welding starts and automatically stops as per spot timer. This feature is extremely useful for precision tack welding. Press the gas test button to check the flow of gas in the torch before welding. Weld-o-meter shows the arcing or the weld time. Here it shows 24 minutes. It can store up to 999.99 hours of welding. Machine is capable of storing all your parameters in various jobs. 10 job memories help you easily move from welding one job to another without having to set all the parameters again. We can also lock the machine panel to avoid infringement of welding parameters. Wishing you a happy installation. Apollo 400 and 600, a product by APS Welding.